Everyone wants confidence. Almost nobody understands it. They picture the loudest voice in the room, the guy who pounds the table, the one who never stops talking about what he has done, what he is building, who he knows. That is not confidence. That is compensation. Machiavelli saw through this centuries ago. He studied kings, generals, and politicians, and he noticed a pattern that most people still miss today. The most powerful individuals in any room were rarely the loudest. They were the stillest. They did not announce their arrival. They did not chase reactions. They did not perform strength. They carried it like gravity, invisible but impossible to ignore. You have felt this before. Someone walks in, says almost nothing, and somehow the energy in the room shifts. Conversations quiet down. People glance over without knowing why. There is no logical explanation. But there is a strategic one. These people have mastered 7 specific traits that most will never develop. Not because the traits are complicated, but because they demand something rare, the willingness to be misunderstood while everyone else is desperate to be liked. Machiavelli wrote that the wise man does what the fool does last. Most people spend their lives performing confidence. The dangerous ones simply possess it. Here are 7 traits that separate them from everyone else. There is an invisible auction happening in every conversation you enter, and most people do not realize they are bidding. They bid with nervous laughter after their own jokes. They bid by changing their opinion the second someone pushes back. They bid by watching eyes around the table to check if people agree before they commit to a thought. Every single one of these moves is a transaction. You are trading pieces of your authority in exchange for a moment of social comfort. And the room always notices, not consciously. Nobody sits there thinking, this person needs my validation. But the body reads it. The subconscious registers it. And within seconds, a ranking is established. The person who adjusts gets filed under follower. The person who holds steady gets filed under leader. Machiavelli put it bluntly. Men judge more by their eyes than by their hands, meaning people evaluate what they see far faster than what they are told. You can tell someone you are confident, but if your eyes dart to their face after every sentence to check their reaction, your body already told the truth. Think about the last meeting you sat in. Someone pitched an idea. The moment they finished speaking, watch what they did. Did they sit back and let the idea breathe? Or did they immediately start softening it? Obviously, this is just a rough thought. Feel free to push back. I could be totally wrong here. That is not humility. That is a rescue mission. They felt the silence and panicked. They assumed silence meant rejection, so they started dismantling their own idea before anyone else had the chance. A dangerously confident person does something radically different. They speak. They stop. They let the room sit in whatever discomfort follows. Because they understand something fundamental. Your need to be agreed with is the fastest way to be dismissed. There is a cost to this. Some people will not like you. Some will call you difficult. Some will distance themselves. Good. Those people were only comfortable around you when you were controllable. The moment you stopped being easy to manage, they revealed what they actually valued, not you, but your compliance. When a man no longer needs the room to approve of him, something strange happens. The room starts trying to earn his approval instead. Not because he demanded it, because he stopped asking for theirs. And that reversal changes everything. Every room has a vacuum. The moment a decision needs to be made, most people freeze. They look around. They wait for someone else to go first. They hedge. They delay. And in that tiny window of hesitation, power transfers. It goes to whoever fills the vacuum first. Not the smartest person, not the most qualified, the most decisive. Machiavelli observed this repeatedly in political courts. Advisors who knew more than the prince often held less power. Why? Because knowledge without action is just commentary. The one who decided, even imperfectly, shaped reality. The one who hesitated became a spectator in someone else's story. This plays out in ordinary life constantly. Two people are deciding where to eat. One says, "I don't mind. What do you feel like?" The other says, "We are going to that Italian place on 5th Street. Who just led?" It was not a major decision, but leadership was claimed in a single sentence. And once claimed, it is rarely challenged, because most people are quietly relieved when someone else takes the wheel. Hesitation is not thoughtfulness. Thoughtfulness happens before the moment of action. Hesitation happens during it. And during that moment, the world is watching. Your hands, your voice, your eyes, everything is transmitting. When you flinch before answering a tough question, you did not buy yourself time. You broadcast that the question was bigger than you. When you stammer through a decision, you did not show caution. You showed the room that pressure cracks you. The dangerously confident person processes fast internally and moves clean externally. There is no visible lag between thought and execution. That seamlessness is what people experience as authority. And here is the part nobody talks about. You will sometimes decide wrong. That is guaranteed. But decisiveness with occasional error always outranks hesitation with theoretical perfection. Because people do not follow perfection. People follow momentum. A wrong decision made with conviction gets corrected quickly. A right decision made too late changes nothing. Machiavelli would say, "Fortune favors the man who acts, not the man who deliberates until the moment has passed." So when the room freezes, you move. When the question hangs in the air, you answer. When the pressure builds, you choose. Not because you are certain, but because you refuse to be paralyzed. And that alone puts you above 90% of the people you will ever compete against. There is a move so powerful that most people never use it because it terrifies them. Leaving. Not threatening to leave. Not hinting that you might leave. Not delivering a passionate monologue about why you deserve better and then staying anyway. Actually leaving. Quietly. Without spectacle. Without giving the other side a speech to argue against. Most people cannot do this. And the reason is not logical. It is emotional. They are addicted to closure. They need the final word. They need the other person to understand. They need to be seen walking away so the exit itself becomes a performance. But the moment your exit becomes a performance, it stops being powerful. It becomes negotiation. You are not leaving. You are bargaining with your feet. Machiavelli studied alliances carefully. He noted that the most dangerous ally was not the one who argued loudly about terms. It was the one who could simply withdraw support without warning, because that unpredictability made every other party cautious. Hesitation is not thoughtfulness. Thoughtfulness happens before the moment of action. Hesitation happens during it, and during that moment, the world is watching. Your hands, your voice, your eyes, everything is transmitting. When you flinch before answering a tough question, you did not buy yourself time. You broadcast that the question was bigger than you. When you stammer through a decision, you did not show caution. You showed the room that pressure cracks you. The dangerously confident person processes fast internally and moves clean externally. There is no visible lag between thought and execution. That seamlessness is what people experience as authority. And here is the part nobody talks about. You will sometimes decide wrong. That is guaranteed. But decisiveness with occasional error always outranks hesitation with theoretical perfection. Because people do not follow perfection, people follow momentum. A wrong decision made with conviction gets corrected quickly. A right decision made too late changes nothing. Machiavelli would say, "Fortune favors the man who acts, not the man who deliberates until the moment has passed." So when the room freezes, you move. When the question hangs in the air, you answer. When the pressure builds, you choose. Not because you are certain, but because you refuse to be paralyzed. And that alone puts you above 90% of the people you will ever compete against. There is a move so powerful that most people never use it, because it terrifies them. Leaving. Not threatening to leave, not hinting that you might leave, not delivering a passionate monologue about why you deserve better and then staying anyway. Actually leaving, quietly, without spectacle, without giving the other side a speech to argue against. Most people cannot do this, and the reason is not logical. It is emotional. They are addicted to closure. They need the final word. They need the other person to understand. They need to be seen walking away, so the exit itself becomes a performance. But the moment your exit becomes a performance, it stops being powerful. It becomes negotiation. You are not leaving. You are bargaining with your feet. Machiavelli studied alliances carefully. He noted that the most dangerous ally was not the one who argued loudly about terms. It was the one who could simply withdraw support without warning, because that unpredictability made every other party cautious. The same dynamic governs your personal life. When someone disrespects you and you deliver a long speech about it, they learn one thing: you will tolerate it long enough to compose a speech. That is not a consequence. That is a delay. But when someone disrespects you and you simply become less available, no anger, no explanation, no dramatic exit, the effect is immediate. They feel the temperature drop. They notice the gap. And because there is nothing to argue against, there is nothing to resolve on their terms. The silence forces them to sit with what they did. And silence is a far harsher teacher than words. Here is what makes this trait rare. It requires you to genuinely accept loss. You must be willing to lose the relationship, the deal, the friendship, the opportunity. If you are not willing, your walk away is a bluff, and bluffs get called. The dangerously confident person has already done the math before anyone else realizes there is an equation. He knows what he can afford to lose, and because he knows, he moves without hesitation when the line is crossed. No farewell tour, no revenge, no waiting to be chased. Just forward motion. People remember that, not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. And once someone demonstrates that they can walk away clean from anything, every future interaction with them carries a different weight. Because now, everyone knows the door is never locked from the inside. There is a phrase that immediately signals weakness, and most people say it constantly. I already told you. The moment you say that, you have admitted something devastating. Your words did not work the first time. And instead of acting, you are trying words again. Repetition is not persistence. Repetition is proof that your boundaries have no teeth. Think about it from the other side. If someone tells you not to do something, and you do it, and all they do is tell you again, what did you actually learn? You learned that the cost of crossing them is a conversation. That is not a cost. That is an inconvenience at best. Machiavelli addressed this directly when discussing how rulers handle rebellion. He argued that a prince must deal with threats swiftly and decisively the first time, not because cruelty is virtuous, but because delayed enforcement multiplies the problem. Every moment the violation stands unpunished, it becomes normalized. And once normalized, removing it requires 10 times the force. Translate this to everyday life. Someone interrupts you in meetings repeatedly. The first time you let it slide. The second time you say, "Let me finish." The third time you say it with more frustration. The fourth time you say nothing because now it feels awkward to keep addressing it. What just happened? You trained them. You taught them that interrupting you has no consequence beyond a momentary verbal pushback that fades quickly. The dangerously confident man handles it differently. First interruption, he pauses, looks directly at the person, and finishes his point without acknowledging the interruption. The energy shifts. If it happens again, he does not repeat his request. He reduces engagement with that person. Less collaboration, less access, less warmth, no announcement, no confrontation, just structural consequence. And that is the key word: structure. Emotional enforcement is loud, messy, and easily dismissed. Structural enforcement is quiet, clean, and deeply felt. You do not need to raise your voice when your actions speak. You do not need to explain your standards when your behavior demonstrates them. The fewer lines you draw, the more seriously each one is taken. A man with 50 boundaries looks neurotic. A man with 5 unbreakable ones looks formidable. Know what you will never tolerate. Make it visible once, then let your response do the teaching. Because people do not learn from your words. They learn from your consequences. Most people treat conversation like a performance. They are on stage, projecting, narrating, explaining, filling every gap with sound. The dangerously confident person treats conversation like surveillance, not in a paranoid sense, in a strategic one. While everyone is busy proving how much they know, he is quietly cataloging how much they are giving away. Because people leak constantly. They leak insecurities through overcompensation. They leak ambitions through casual comments. They leak fears through the topics they avoid. They leak allegiances through the people they reference. All you have to do is stop talking long enough to hear it. Machiavelli believed that the greatest advantage in any conflict, political, social, or personal, was information asymmetry. Knowing more about the other side than they know about you. Every word you speak narrows that gap. Every opinion you volunteer gives someone a handle to grab. Every plan you reveal gives someone a roadmap to either follow or sabotage. This does not mean being silent to the point of absurdity. It means being selective to the point of precision. Think of your words like ammunition. A soldier who fires constantly runs out before the battle is decided. A soldier who fires selectively finishes with rounds to spare and a target that never saw it coming. When you do speak, make it land. Short sentences, clear positions, no filler, no qualifiers, no unnecessary backstory. Watch what happens. People start leaning in. They start paying closer attention. They start weighing your words more carefully. Because scarcity does something to human attention. It creates focus. The man who talks all the time trains the room to tune him out. The man who speaks only when it matters trains the room to listen. There is also a defensive element. The more you reveal about your inner world, the more material you hand to anyone who might one day oppose you. Your triggers become their tools. Your insecurities become their leverage. Your plans become their counter-strategy. Restraint is not weakness. It is armor. Machiavelli would say, let your enemies speak freely. Encourage it. Because every word they say is a window into their position, and every word you withhold is a wall around yours. Speak when it serves you. Stay silent when it protects you. And never confuse the urge to be heard with the need to be understood. They are not the same thing. Watch any predator in nature, and you will notice something. They never rush. The cheetah explodes into speed only at the moment of strike. Before that, it is still, patient, deliberate, every movement calculated. Now watch most people in a conversation. They are scrambling, answering before the question is finished, nodding frantically to show they are listening, jumping in the moment there is a pause because silence feels like failure. That is prey behavior, not predator behavior. Machiavelli understood tempo as a weapon. He observed that rulers who reacted to every provocation appeared weak, while those who responded on their own timeline appeared commanding. The difference was not intelligence, it was rhythm. You control a room the same way a conductor controls an orchestra, not by being the loudest instrument, but by setting the beat that everyone else follows. When someone asks you a question and you pause for 2 seconds before responding, something shifts. They feel it. They lean forward slightly. Their impatience rises. And in that micro moment, you have established something critical. They are waiting for you. The person who waits holds less power than the person who is waited for. This extends beyond conversation. Your walk communicates tempo. Your email response time communicates tempo. Your availability communicates tempo. If you respond to every text in 30 seconds, you have taught the world that you are always on call. You have made yourself a utility, reliable, accessible, and therefore ordinary. If you respond thoughtfully on your own schedule, without anxiety about delay, you have communicated something else entirely, that your time is governed by your priorities, not their expectations. Machiavelli would call this managing perception through pace. The urgent man looks desperate. The measured man looks deliberate, and deliberate always outranks desperate in any hierarchy. There is a practical element too. When you slow down your speech, your words carry more weight. Fast talkers are subconsciously processed as nervous. Slow speakers are processed as certain. Think of every powerful speaker you have ever seen. Political leaders, trial lawyers, CEOs addressing a crisis. They do not rush. They let the weight of each sentence settle before delivering the next. That rhythm is not natural for most people. It is trained, and it is worth training. Because when you control the tempo, you are no longer reacting to the environment. The environment is reacting to you. And that is the definition of frame control. This is the trait that holds all the others together. And it is the one most people will never develop. Because it asks you to do something that feels unnatural, genuinely accept that you might lose, and move forward anyway. Not pretend to accept it. Not tell yourself you are fine with it, while your stomach tightens and your decisions rush. Actually be at peace with the possibility that the deal falls through. The person walks away. The opportunity evaporates. Machiavelli wrote extensively about fortune. He compared it to a river. When it floods, it destroys everything in its path. But the man who builds embankments during calm seasons survives the storm. The embankment is not the outcome. The embankment is your internal stability. Most people build their entire identity on results. If the business succeeds, they are worthy. If the relationship works, they are lovable. If the promotion comes, they are competent. That structure is catastrophically fragile, because it means one bad result does not just cost you the outcome. It costs you your sense of self. The dangerously confident man builds his identity on process, not results. He defines himself by how he operates, not by what happens after. Did he make a clear decision? Did he hold his standards? Did he communicate with precision? Did he refuse to compromise his integrity? If the answer is yes, the outcome is secondary. Win or lose, his foundation remains intact. This creates a paradox that Machiavelli would appreciate. The man who does not need to win often wins more, because he negotiates without panic. He performs without tension. He competes without desperation, and people can feel it. When you sit across from someone who genuinely does not need the deal, something shifts in the negotiation. You start working harder to keep them interested. You start offering more. You start adjusting. Why? Because their detachment signals value. If they can walk away, they must have options. If they have options, they must be valuable. If they are valuable, maybe you need them more than they need you. That entire chain reaction starts from one internal reality. They were prepared to lose. Attachment is a cage disguised as motivation. It tells you that wanting something badly will help you get it. In reality, wanting something badly makes you vulnerable to anyone who controls access to it. Release the grip. Not on the goal, but on the desperation. Want it. Pursue it. But never let it own you. Because the man who can lose without breaking is the man who can never truly be defeated. 7 traits, none of them loud, none of them flashy, none of them designed to impress a crowd. Stop chasing approval. Let people earn access to your agreement. Decide without flinching. Let the room follow your momentum. Disappear without explanation. Let absence teach what words cannot. Enforce your standards once. Let consequences replace conversations. Reveal less than you observe. Let others expose themselves while you remain positioned. Set the tempo. Let the world adjust to your rhythm instead of chasing theirs. Get comfortable losing. Let your detachment become your greatest negotiation tool. Machiavelli did not write about confidence as a feeling. He wrote about it as a structure, a framework of behaviors that position you above the noise without ever raising your voice. Most people will watch this and agree with every word. Very few will actually apply it, because application requires the one thing that cannot be faked, the willingness to stand alone. If you are ready for that, everything changes. Stay disciplined, stay sovereign, stay dangerous.